get ready, because this is really special. This is really useful. Also, this is super powerful technique. You want to use this all the time. This is what we use to really break the times.
Look at that speed. 120 speed. Oh, yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about.
131, 37, yep. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Professional races, professional speed gaming. I see theta, I see Beetle face direction, Beetle angle. Oh, look at that. Oh, and there it is. There's the 137. There's what I mean. Yeah, you barely even had enough time to do that because he got to the edge of the arena so quickly.
Starting with the advanced techniques.
Begin. What is this? What are these images? What's going on here?
These are some pictures that somebody took, I believe. But yeah, we were accused of giving our Beetles steroids to make them go faster. And have illegal means to get better than our competition.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Actually, this is all fake news. This is not true. We definitely do not have a Sura lab in Metrocar province under the Thalmanova reactor. We do not have that. It's yeah, no, it's definitely not. No, it's not true. No. In fact, guys, I will show you what it is actually all about.
The PowerPoint is here.
This is a beautiful one. This is called Hyperboosting.
Ooh.
And this one is, well, most people would say this one is easier to do than ACS Drifting.
Okay.
What you have to do is you have to drift and boost at the same time, but that's not all that there is to it, because there's a bit of delicate camera control involved. You want to have a bit sharper initial camera turn, then try to slow down your camera movement to maintain that 45-degree Beetle angle. But using this technique, you can accelerate up to 137 speed.
Ooh.
On the speedometer.
That's a lot of speed.
That's a lot of speed.
Is it the highest possible speed?
It is. And
there it is.
The next slide will go into why that is, with a bit of science and mathematics.
Ooh. Let's go. I'm ready.
But for now, let's just demonstrate this technique.
Let's take a look.
And get that practice going.
Here we go.
So I'm just going to accelerate normally, and I'm just going to power surf a bit to keep that speed up until I regenerate my endurance again.
Yep.
So now my endurance is full, and I'm going to set up for the hyperboost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight, and then I'm going to drift and flick my camera a bit, and then I'm going to boost. So here we go.
Okay, let's do it.
Hopefully I don't embarrass myself. So straight, and here we go.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that speed. Well over 120 there.
I'm going to give it another try.
Yep. Here we go. There's the boost. Oh, and there it is. There's the 137. There's the way. I mean, yeah, you barely even had enough time to do that because he got to the edge of the arena so quickly. Oh, you're there. Yep. I see it. There's the 137. How long would you maintain? Let's imagine this was like a really long piece of track, because obviously you're having to stop there. How long can you maintain the 137 for?
That's a very good question, and it's actually the boost lasts a certain amount of time, right?
Yep.
It's about 2 seconds, I think. 2 or 3 seconds. So that's technically the limit on how long you can maintain 137 exactly. But there are some methods to extend it, and that is the fourth technique that we'll discuss. It's called the drift hold. But we need a bit of knowledge before we go into that one.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so just one more demonstration, and then I'll give the floor to you for experimentation. There we go.
Okay.
And let's see if you can do it.
All right. So what's the again? What's the input here that you have to do?
Yeah. So first you have to start drifting by holding one of the turn keys, so A or D. Drift, flick your camera a bit, and as close to pressing the drift key as possible, start boosting.
Okay.
So the timing is quite tight on it, right? Drift and boost pretty much at the same time.
Yep. Okay. So we have to go. So we have to kind of have a bit of speed first going on, then turn, then boost, and then drift at the same time.
Exactly.
So what's the camera flick? What does that mean?
So the camera flick is just to get to 45 degrees a bit faster, right? So you want to get that drift enabled, but the camera flick is to make sure that the drift is at the right angle.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's get a few more in, lads. Let's get a few more in. You know. Oh yes, yes. Ah, ooh, there it is. That's what I'm talking about.
131, 37. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Got the save. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go again. Let's go again. Yes, 137. All right, okay, that'll do. That'll do for now. Okay. What else have you got for us? What else have you got for me? Powersurf.
First advanced mechanics. The Powersurf. And I want to actually let you demonstrate this first, Teapot. So let's go back to your in-game feed.
I'm in.
And you see the ramp walls on the outside of the arena?
Okay.
Can you start drifting on those? Any direction is fine.
Hang on. I've initiated the speedometer. Here we go. I am drifting on a curved surface.
Yes.
I am 105 speed.
Keep drifting like that. Just do not stop.
I'm doing it.
There you go.
Look at that, guys.
You're doing an advanced technique. This is called power surfing. So, one thing you should be noticing right now is that you're going over the speed limit, but that must mean you're accelerating, right? In fact, you can just keep going like this indefinitely.
So you can get infinite speed.
You can get infinite acceleration, infinite speed. That's true.
Holy shit.
You don't need to boost ever anymore if you are racing or driving on curved surfaces.
Wow.
You can indefinitely keep drifting here, but you need to very gently turn camera. So actually what a lot of racers do, they set their mouse sensitivity to about 40 to 30%, so quite low.
Oh.
And they can have a better camera control that way. One tip I can give you actually is that the acceleration that you're getting now is because the Beetle is facing downward on the slope. So the game thinks you're going downhill.
Yeah.
That's where the acceleration is coming from. Even though you're going in a straight line, you're not going downhill at all. The game thinks you're going downhill. So that's why you're accelerating. So if you want more acceleration, you need a steeper slope. So actually, you should go up on the ramp and have the stronger downward slope there.
I'm going for it. I'm doing it.
Now, obviously, this one is pretty simple, right? You just have to drift on curved or ramped slopes.
Nice.
That's really all there is to it, right? But the underlying mechanic is quite interesting, right? So you drift on a ramp, the game thinks you're going downhill, so it gives you acceleration. So that's actually sort of an underlying principle for most of these advanced mechanics. You drift, you do something weird that is terrain related or drifting related, and suddenly the Beetle breaks down a bit, and you can gain some special advantages.
What's next?
So let's move on to the next mechanic, and suddenly
graphs.
We're gonna go into something more difficult, and there's a bit of science involved here. So you see these fancy graphs here and so on, right? Okay. We'll get into those. But first, Teapot, we're gonna jump off a cliff. What we're gonna do is we're gonna boost from here, and we're gonna drive off the track. But we're not just gonna drive off the track. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna drift while doing it.
Okay.
And while doing so, try to drift off the air and see what the speedometer does. So let's give it a try.
Let's go.
And keep drifting through the air.
Ooh, there is speed happening. Oh, I hit in the train and died. Unlucky. I'm going back up.
You see that at some point you started having acceleration while you were drifting through the air?
Exactly.
The actual underlying principle, and you can switch back to the presentation if you want.
I'm doing it. Let's go.
The underlying mechanic is a bit complicated to understand. We have some ideas. It's if you know Quake engine, bunny hopping.
Yep.
It's most likely a bit similar to that. So what happens if you go into the air? So you enter a different control mode, some kind of tractionless air control mode. And it balances acceleration and deceleration vectors differently. And it happens to be so the case that if you drift at an angle through the air with a specific angle, you can get this acceleration. And this is very useful.
Like a ramp,
so
for
let's
example,
take a look at
that
these science graphs a little bit, right?
Science graphs, hit me. Give me the numbers. Corper.
So you see a couple of lines here, like the blue line and the pink line. And what we're measuring here is not time against acceleration, but the angle of the Beetle against acceleration. So as you're drifting through the air, you can see, okay, the acceleration actually increases over time as you are increasing the Beetle angle during the drift.
Yep.
And then at some point it kind of drops off, right?
Yep.
At minus 15. You can also see this very well in the actual speed against the Beetle angle curves. So it starts to increase, increase, increase. As you start to hit the approximately 45 to 50 degrees, and you get a very sharp drop off. So this is air drifting. Now there's a special way where we can use this air drifting very conveniently in Beetle racing.
Okay.
And this is by, let me get back to the practice area.
Let's go.
All right, and get ready because this is really special. This is really useful. Also, this is super powerful technique. You want to use this all the time. If you are trying to learn the advanced Beetle mechanics, this is what we use to really break the times. Right?
Okay. Okay.
This is called jump air drifts and air cancelled slider drifts. Let's go.
Let's go. Look at that speed. 120 speed.
Again, infinite acceleration. I'm finding acceleration by jumping through the air and drifting while I'm doing so. Right now I'm doing regular air drifts. So I'm just jumping and turning my camera while doing so. And keeping my camera and Beetle angle between a certain degree to not lose the acceleration by drifting too sharply. As you could see in the graph, if you drift too sharply, there's that sharp drop off, right? But I'm also making sure to drift, to turn my camera enough so that I don't stop drifting while midair. Because if I stop drifting midair, then everything cancels out and actually drop down to like 80 speed, which is not what I want.
And that is fast. That is wicked. You could say it's wicked.
And now I'm going to quickly swap to ACS drifts, so air cancelled slider drifts. And they're a little bit different from air drift in the sense that I am putting in an extra button press in this sequence. So what I'm doing while doing ACS drifts is while midair, I am releasing and immediately repressing my drift key. So immediately releasing and repressing my drift key while midair, and all the while still turning my camera. And this is called the ACS drift or air cancelled slider drift, because what I'm doing is I'm cancelling my drift midair by releasing my drift key, right? That's how you enter the slide mode if you remember the basic techniques. So I'm entering the slide mode and I'm immediately re-entering my drift state again by repressing the drift key. What happens is that the effect from the air drift is extended while I'm going on the ground. So you get all the beneficial effects from every technique that we discussed before. We have the slide state, which allows you to maintain more speed while going through corners. We have the air drift advantage, which is basically we keep accelerating even while going through the ground, so I don't need to be in the air while still getting the acceleration from the air drift. And I have the sharper drift controls from drift mode. So all the beneficial effects are combined into one effect.
Indeed. See the power, chat. The power.
And watch the speedometer as I'm sliding on the ground. It's still accelerating. You see, if I land, it's still accelerating, still accelerating.
And again, to be clear, this is using, this is jumping while doing this that's kind of enabling this effect? Because
I'm
you are
only jumping. There's no boosting
going
involved.
into the air. You can see the endurance is not being used here, guys, right? Look at the endurance there. It's not used. The boost is not enabled. Okay? All this is using a weird gimmick with being in the air. Ooh.
You can also slow down a bit, right? So if you bonk into something, but you have still some speed, you can just quickly do some air drifts, and you can catch back up.
Yeah, this is a very powerful to regain any lost speed then. Very handy in that case.
Exactly.
So you're never going to be stuck at a really, really slow speed. Then you won't ever get stuck at 33 without a boosting because there's no reason to. Can use the air jump.
Boosting in a straight line is slower than this, right? You don't even want to use your boosts. Although we're gonna come to that as well in a second, right? There's actually a reason to still use a boost, but that's the next part basically. Very good question from the Global Legend. You want to disable boost from using space because in the standard keybind setup, boosting is the same as jumping, right? You press spacebar to boost, and you definitely do not want this. So what you have to do is go to options, scroll all the way down here, and there's a section in the general options, right? Called mounts, and you need to check this box: disable conditional mount movement ability input. This has to be checked, and this way you can use your spacebar freely. Well, and in general, for keybinds, if you want to do this technique, it's very useful to have your keybinds accessible easily, because if you have difficulty with pressing both your drift keys and your jump keys at the same time, then it's gonna complicate applying this technique a lot.
Yep.
So what I have is actually have my jump key on my mouse side button, and my drift keys on my keyboard, so I can just control those with my two hands essentially, and I can separately control it without congesting my left hand too much.
All right, so what we have to do here is we have to drift. That's okay, and we have to jump at the same time. All right. So let's see if we can make this work.
You can only drift you can only jump if you're drifting. You cannot jump while you're sliding. Another difference between the two control modes.
But you can't jump while sliding, or it will just
exactly. You cannot jump while sliding.
It won't the game won't let you, or it will fuck you over. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, the game just says no.
Yeah, it has to be just jumping then. So I have to jump. So out of the way. If I just kind of go around in a big circle like this, and hang on a minute. Let's get a little warm up here, guys. So if I just start drifting, then I need to start jumping, right? What's the order of input?
So it is the whole order of input is turn your camera and start drifting by using A or D. Okay. And while you're holding the drift key, press jump. Keep turning your camera gradually, right? Slightly. It cannot be too sharp, it cannot be too soft. Okay. Or either you go too far and you lose speed, or you stop drifting and you lose all speed.
Okay. So I have to have a Beetle angle at around 40 degrees, right? That's kind of what the number we're looking for here?
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do, gamers. Let's have a bit of a go. What does the camera angle have to look like to make this work? Because it's to do with the camera, right? Like what's going on there? What do I have to do there?
Let me quickly try a couple things.
Yeah. Because I see the camera angle here. What should I be looking at having that at?
I mean, the camera angle thing on the speedometer itself, it shouldn't go further than 20 degrees. Right?
No, okay. Yeah. Wait, no further than 20?
Yeah, it's very tight.
Okay.
I also want to emphasize
go ahead.
how useful the speedometer is for this, right? Because you might not always notice it when you do it if the effect is very slight, right? But the speedometer will say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll be able to see, especially if when you're first trying to do it, it's probably not going to be that great. But then as you keep doing it, then you'll see some value out of that. So if I want to do loads of these things in a row, how do I do that? I have to continuously press the drift key as well.
Yeah. So one release and repress per chained ACS.
Oh god, fucking hell, lads, that's gonna be fucking spicy. Holy shit! All right. After landing, you need to repress the drift key to jump again. Oh, I see. I understand. Okay. So it will only let you. It will only let you jump once. So you have to. Okay.
Yeah, so turning the camera is before you jump, essentially. You need to start turning the camera and then jump.
Okay, wait. Turn the camera as you're jumping. Once you get a feel for it, you'll feel the speed. Okay, so wait. I need to turn it as I jump or before I jump? So I have to turn, then jump?
As you're jumping.
Okay, as I'm jumping. So at the same time?
Yeah, well, yeah, you need to be turning the camera as you're jumping. So notice how your camera movement is smaller now, right?
Yeah.
And more consistent. Shall I just briefly demonstrate again how the ACS works, a little bit as a reference for things maybe you can notice now that you have tried it a bit?
Yeah, sure. Let's go. I'm going on. I'm looking at the stream. I'm on the stream. Let's go.
All right. Let's go.
Let's go! Look at the
very
speed.
Nice, constant turn rates.
Yep. Look at that. 43 angle on the Beetle exactly. Camera 14 degrees. Look at the speed. Professional races, professional speed gaming. Love to see it. Okay. Should we move on to some other techniques? Some other advanced techniques?
Absolutely. I think you know, we've explained this technique now a bit. We kind of understand, well, maybe not why exactly it works, but how you do it and how you can reproduce it. And you know, people should, if they want to, you know, compete and they want to use this, you should just really keep practicing until you get that muscle memory down.
Yep.
And now it's time to go on for the next
Here we
technique.
go.
So we go back to the core PowerPoint. Angle limit management.
Whoa. What is this? What is going on here? I see theta.
Out of the way.
Yeah, I'm moving myself out of the way as well. I see theta. I see Beetle face direction. Beetle angle. Optimal between 43 and 47 degrees. It's a tight window. It's a tight window.
Yeah. So what you see here is on the right, the graph with the data points. It's a collection of data from the logs that are generated by the speedometer.
Yep.
So what we can do is we can plot the angle of the Beetle against the speed, what we saw earlier as well with the airdrift graphs. And as it turns out, there's like this curve, right, where we have the maximum speed being between 43 and 47 degrees. And every day, the Mad Dog in the chat, she discovered that, or she had the idea that maybe it's related to the fact that there is a speed limiter on the game.
Yep.
And the fact that you drift with the Beetle at an angle. So what the game actually does is it applies a speed limit to the Beetle in the direction that the Beetle is facing. And you can see here, the little Beetle mount in the diagram, it's facing this way, right? So the game says, okay, the speed limit in this direction is 1800 units per second or 100 on the speedometer. But the direction that you're actually going in is this direction.
Is the hypotenuse of the triangle. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's the relation to the angle.
So you can calculate the distance.
Yeah.
You can calculate the length of this vector by applying the formula, the y or the maximum speed is the length of this vector, so 99 on the speedometer, divided by the cosine of the Beetle angle.
That's big.
And that will give you this graph here. And so what I mean by angle limit management is that basically what you want to do while you are applying the techniques, you want to maintain the Beetle angle between 43 and 47 degrees to maintain that optimum speed. And this is really where you get to the next level, right, with Beetle racing, because this is not easy, right? This is a very small
4 degrees
small frame where you can do. Okay, next, because we don't have to demonstrate this tech, you know, it's just mathematics. But what we can practice is drift hold.
Okay.
So this is also a bit related, right, to the graph we just saw. So if you go back one slide, at 0 degrees, right, the speed limit is just 100. There's no way to go over it if you're not drifting. So what happens if you apply a technique that brings you over 100 speed, and then you want to change the direction of the Beetle? you have to pass the 0 degrees again. And you will lose all that valuable overspeed that you just generated.
Unlucky.
You don't want to do that, right? So for swapping direction, unfortunately, there's no way to maintain that speed. But you can still go in a straight line, more or less, and maintain a lot of that overspeed that you generated with the special tech. And this is called drift holding. And I wouldn't say that this is kind of any kind of broken technique, right? Because you're not really breaking the game, you're not really applying any bugs. All you're doing with the drift hold is you're maintaining a drift. You're not going straight anymore, so you can maintain the overspeed that you just generated. So you're not finding magical acceleration, but you kind of maintain the speed that you found.
Okay.
And just a very short demonstration.
Let's go.
The speedometer. I will bring it back.
Boom.
So I'm just going to do some ACS and then I'll try to maintain the speed, right? So here we go. I'm making the speed. I'm generating overspeed, and now I'm just going in a straight line.
With 110.
I'm still keeping that speed over 110. So you can imagine that if you go on a racetrack and it has a bunch of curves and then a long straight, this is a very powerful technique.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would say that the drift hold is the most broken of all techniques in a certain way, because when we learned doing drift holds, that was shaving off seconds from our time trial records, right? Like the ACS was good, we found acceleration, the hyperboost was good, we found crazy speeds, right? But this technique really was what made the difference, right? Because we can now carry through all this extra speed throughout the whole track.
Okay.
And that's really big.
So what are you actually doing here? What are you doing input-wise right now? So, you build up the speed, and then you do what? What are you doing here?
Yeah, if we go back to the basic mechanics, right?
Yep.
So the 3 drift control modes.
Uh-huh.
There's normal mode, there's drift mode, and there's slide mode. I'm just drift sliding here, right? As you would in any other scenario where you need to apply drift sliding. I'm just drift sliding, but I'm just keeping my camera more or less straight. Like very, very, very gentle turn here if I'm going straight, because if you don't turn your camera while doing this, you will just drop out of
you'll just drop out of the drift. Yeah, yeah.
So a very, very gentle turn, but otherwise I'm just drift sliding, nothing else.
Okay. Well, there it is. The speed is maintained.
Yes. So if you want, we can practice this a little bit, but I feel it kind of speaks for itself. But if you want, you can try it for a bit.
Okay. Keeping the drift shallow to maintain forward motion. Essentially, yeah, it's just going in a straight line with a teeny tiny little turn. A little turn, and you won't lose your speed. So if you got over the speed limit, you can stay over the speed limit or stay at a very high speed by going in a straight line and just drifting a tiny bit all in the same line. That's how it is.
Track optimization. This is we're talking in terms of advanced mechanics here, because that's, I think, what's when you've mastered the advanced mechanics, that's when this kind of stuff becomes really advanced or really relevant. But once you've mastered those, you need to start thinking about racing lines, and you need to start thinking about, okay, how do I tie all these techniques together into one lap that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And makes sense in the sense that you travel the shortest distance with the highest average speed. That's really what track optimization comes down to, and that might sound a little bit, obvious, a bit forehead. Okay, yeah, you need to travel the shortest distance, right, and as fast as possible. But there's a bit of finesse to this. So take for instance these 2 lines here that I've drawn on the screen here.
Yep.
So there's a green line and a red line, right? And one of them is faster, and it's the green line. So you're going in this direction. Into this U-turn, and if you do it like this, it's faster than the red line, even though on the red line you start on the inside. It's because in this line you actually take the corner on the apex of the corner. And you can do that only if you go a bit wide on the start and then start turning early, so you can take the shortest route. But also, the this corner is a bit wider than this one. This actually allows you to make a very nice and consistent ACS drift all the way throughout it. And not only will this give you a shorter travel distance, but it will also give you a higher speed when you exit the corner. And this kind of stuff is really important if you want to actually optimize the track. You want to work down your time, your time trials a little bit. And that kind of stuff is really what makes a difference in an actual race. If you want to compete in a race and you want to be really competitive, you need to practice this stuff. You need to balance also consistency of your racing line against the risks that it has. Because if you take racing lines that are very close to the edge like this, there's also a risk that you fall off, right? And you don't want to do that. So you need to balance that. And it's just a bit of trial and error to find what works best for you. And this is why talking about the speedometer tool just now was actually really useful, because there's another function of the speedometer tool that is really good for this trial and error process. So let's go over it.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to open a module here. It's called Launch Ghost. The Ghost module here is like a small little donut, right? And what you will actually see when I cross this line here, this is where the first checkpoint is. When I cross this line here, this thing will start moving, and you can just kind of chase it around the map. And if you do something that is bad, so you have a bad racing line, or you crash into something, right? But if it's a bad racing line, or if you're not applying the techniques right, you will see that you will start falling further and further behind. And if you're doing something that is better than your Ghost, then you will realize, hey, this is something that I can use in the race. This is how I can optimize the track. So you just do a bunch of these races. You race against your Ghost a couple times. Every time you get a better time, you just update the Ghost. And slowly start working down the time. Until you reach a PB that is, that is satisfactory.
Nice. Got him.
So I'm just gonna do a race here, and actually, should I start with a race? Yeah, let's start with a race.
Here we go.
I'm gonna race against the Ghost. Hopefully the Discord will work.
Yeah, it's fine.
You'll see how it works.
Yeah, we'll go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
So
Boom.
I'm gonna start with a couple of ACSs here, just to get a little bit extra speed before we go into this U-turn. Now, this first corner here is really interesting. Actually, it has a lot of optimization going for it. Now, my Ghost here, it's jumping over these gaps here, right? I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to embarrass myself, but it's jumping over the gaps just to cut that corner a little bit extra. Here I'm doing a hyper boost, and I failed the drift hold. That's fine. Using a bottom figure here, another hyper boost is coming, and chain it directly into ACSs to keep up that speed. Try to take the inside line here. My boost is coming back up, so I'm going to go for another hyper boost. As Fedorius overtakes me. Very nice.
Speed.
And you see, I'm losing a little bit of time to my Ghost, sorry, right? Because I'm just making a couple minor mistakes, but that time is actually ramping up really fast. Another hyper boost on this long straight here, trying to power surf a bit on the ramps here. Jumping over the corner. ACS into different ACS. A bit of power surfing here to gain a bit more speed. Jumping over this ramp. Air drifting a little bit as we go over that ramp. Then 180-degree ACS into another 180-degree ACS. Cutting this corner is really tight with the fountain on the left side. Sometimes you can bump into that. Going down the ramp here, and to finish off, a hyper boost into the final straight.
Boom. There it is. And a 1:30 time.
I might as well actually announce this right now.
Let's go.
For the future events. So
hell yeah.
Race will be organizing monthly Beetle tournaments in Guildhall tracks every month with open and pro brackets, and minimum 2K gold prize pool funded by me personally. For the coming, I think, at least 3 months, we can guarantee that.
Nice.
So if you want to get in on that, you can join us. We have a Discord, Race Discord. If you're okay with that, maybe we can post a link so people can
Do it.
join up if they are interested.
Get it in there.
Also,
Get in
if
there,
you are
gamers.
joining Race Discord, we have a roles section so you can get your own roles, and we have, especially for every new racer who wants to get training, we have a Beetle Apprentice role.
Ooh.
So if you get into Race Discord, click on the Beetle icon in the roles the roles channel to give yourself the Beetle Apprentice role, and you will get pinged to get notified for training events, etc. Corpa is over. No more PowerPoints from here.
Okay.
I think that was the last bit that I wanted to discuss. Track optimization, just get the ghost working, I would say, and try a bunch of stuff.
Do you have any kind of final thoughts, perhaps final words to kind of wrap up the Beetle boot camp that we've had today?
The Beetle bootcamp, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, sure. So we race as a community. We are a pretty small community, right? We are niche kind of content kind of thing. You don't farm any gold while doing this. Of course, you can win tournaments and get big prizes, but that's not for everyone. You need to put in a bit of practice. But we are a very small community, and this tournament is massive, right? There's lots of prizes to be given away, and we're not gonna get all of them, right? You can get in here. You can practice the track. You can get the speedometer. You can run the time trials. You can run the ghost. You can do that track optimization. You can learn the techniques. Other than that, also, even if you are not going for the prizes for these racing tournaments, just doing these races is fun, right? Racing against other people, it's
what is that?
It's what is fun. I only care about rewards. No, racing against other people, close racing action. Trying to beat the guy that's in front of you. It's just exciting. It's adrenaline. It's pumping. It's really, really good content. So I want to encourage everyone, just give it a try. It's really amazing. Get yourself out there, get yourself in the tournament, participate, join Race Discord if you are interested in the kind of stuff we're doing.
Do it.
And yeah, of course, in the future there will be the World Championships. Maybe if you really practice a lot, you can participate in that and have a chance to reach the global final in that one.
Ooh, yeah.
One more thing on Race Discord, we have a special channel called Track Part Market.
And you can sell them.
You can sell your racetrack decorations there. We actually have a big demand for racetrack parts. There's actually there's more demand right now than we can supply. So yeah, track part sellers are welcome in Race Discord.
Thank you so much, Godfrey, for coming on and entertaining everyone here, coming with a PowerPoint. Like, if I see a man with a PowerPoint presentation, I know that's serious business. Like the PowerPoint, I was like, oh, is this guy legit? Is he noob? Is he actually just drugging his Beetle? Is he cheating? The PowerPoint, no. Like, it's legit. I know it instantly. It's professional grade stuff. I love to see it, right? So thanks a lot for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. And sharing this with everyone here. Give me a clap in the chat for Godfrey, guys. Okay, like, he was a GVGer, but now he's gone to an actual hardcore game mode, right? That's easy mode. That's not even really playing Guild Wars 2. This is the only real game mode, guys. Beetle racing content. But yeah, I really appreciate it. And providing some content for us here today on the stream. And hopefully we can build this. I think that it's going to be... It will take a while, I think, to build the scene. But I actually think this is something that could honestly get a lot of people really engaged with it.